Hello, welcome back. I'm Dr. Lynn Reid, and we're going to talk today about progesterone. So let's dive in. We've already had a bit of an intro about estrogen. So today is more about progesterone, and then we'll get on to the interactions between the two. In my mind's eye, progesterone is the unsung hero of hormones. It's like your chill friend who does all the work behind the scenes, keeping everything balanced while other hormones hog the spotlight. So if estrogen were the party girl who loves the limelight, progesterone would be the trusty sidekick, handing her a glass of water and saying, maybe let's just slow down a bit, yeah? So what is progesterone anyway? It is a hormone produced mainly by the ovaries, but it also sometimes has some side gigs in the adrenal glands and the placenta during pregnancy. And in a lot of ways, it's like the stage manager of the menstrual cycle. It's the one keeping things organized, stopping all the wild hormonal tantrums, and making sure everything's ready for the possibility of pregnancy. If you're not planning on starting a family, you might think, what do I even need progesterone for? Well, progesterone isn't just about babies. It's about so much more. It's responsible for balancing out estrogen, keeping mood swings in check, supporting sleep, and regulating your immune system. You might say it's the jack of all trades. It's doing everything from keeping skin clear to preventing those wild mood swings that might otherwise have you laughing one minute and crying over a commercial the next. So progesterone versus estrogen, the ultimate best of buddies. When it comes to hormones, progesterone and estrogen are in yin and yang. So they're that classic good cop, bad cop. Estrogen is this sort of hot-headed, running around, energy, vibrancy, but sometimes maybe a bit off the rails, whereas progesterone is this steady, level-headed partner who steps in and says, hold up, take a breather. So during the first half of your menstrual cycle, estrogen is thickening the lining of the womb and getting things ready. Then, right around ovulation, progesterone swoops in and says, I got it. Takes charge, maintaining the lining of the uterus and calming down estrogen's more excitable tendencies. If you ever wonder why you feel all zen and calm after ovulation, that's progesterone at work. It's like someone just turned down the volume on life a little. During pregnancy, progesterone really steps up its game. It's the very hormone that, if fertilization occurs, goes into overdrive, preparing your body for 9 months of nurturing another human. It thickens the uterine cavity lining, prevents the contractions, and helps develop placenta. Basically, it's setting up the whole environment for a potential baby. If progesterone is a loyal assistant, doesn't take a day off, it's there constantly working behind the scenes, keeping everything functioning smoothly. Without progesterone, the pregnancy wouldn't stick. This hormone is the secret hero who holds it all together while everyone else, including the other hormones, get all the applause. Progesterone and mood. Progesterone is the hormone keeping you sane. One of progesterone's coolest features is its influence on mood. Progesterone can work really well as a natural anti-anxiety agent. It produces a calming effect by activating a neurotransmitter called GABA. GABA is like the brain's chill pill. It makes you feel relaxed and happy, and without enough progesterone, you'd be left without this natural mood stabilizer. If you've ever felt inexplicably calm and content during certain parts of your cycle, it's likely that's progesterone at work. The downside is it's not always consistent. So the hormone fluctuations can be unpredictable. 1 month you're Zen master, and the next you're plotting world domination over a cup of tea. Now, progesterone in menopause is a bit of a tricky one. When it comes to menopause, progesterone packs its bags and phases out. As your ovaries stop releasing eggs, progesterone stops being produced quite so aggressively. Some women notice that you just don't have the patience anymore. You just don't have that chill pill. Progesterone was the calm one. Without it, estrogen can be running a bit of amok. So during menopause and perimenopause, as progesterone starts to leave, you aren't getting that calming effect that you once did. It's like the entire orchestra is playing without a conductor. This is why some women experience more mood swings sleep disturbance and anxiety during menopause. It's progesterone, the original cam app of the body, is no longer. Your body has its own ways, and sometimes it's better to let it figure out naturally. But when you really do need it, HRT or menopause hormonal treatments are the way to go. And that requires engagement with a doctor. Progesterone is not really one that you want to DIY. So just a bit more information about progesterone before we circle back to its uses and its supplementation and how to best get the most from it. Progesterone's lesser known perks is its influence on your skin. You know that mysterious pregnancy glow that everyone talks about? Thank progesterone for that. During pregnancy, progesterone levels surge, which can increase the blood flow to your skin, making it appear healthy and more radiant. On the flip side, if progesterone levels are low, you might find you get dry skin and breakouts. So no one wants to deal with the skin drama on top of everything else. Progesterone might be quiet and reserved, but it's also the thing that make sure that you're not dealing with all that outer rebellion on your skin front. So progesterone's got lots of benefits. In the end, progesterone is that underrated character, the story of our lives. Without it, estrogen would run a mile. Pregnancies wouldn't stick and your mood swings would be more chaotic. It's not flashy, it doesn't have a big song and dance number, but it's really useful. Let's talk about the estrogen and progesterone work together. These two hormones work together like a finely tuned orchestra, with each one playing its part to create harmony in the body. It's like a choreographed dance. Estrogen takes the lead in the first half of the menstrual cycle, building up energy and creating that lush environment. Think of estrogen as the motivator, the one who's always ready to hit the ground running, making sure your body is at its best. During the follicular phase, estrogen ramps up, thickens the uterine lining and boosts serotonin, which helps you feel upbeat and ready to conquer anything. Probably a bit more activated in terms of evolutionary terms, finding a mate. Then just as estrogen reaches its peak, progesterone comes in, a tap on the shoulder, signaling time for a shift. Progesterone steps in during the luteal phase, taking on the role of the calm, responsible counterpart. It's the one that dials down the energy and says, okay, let's get serious now. With estrogen winding down, progesterone stabilizes the uterine lining, creates a supportive environment in case it is an egg that needs to be nurtured. This phase is about balance. Estrogen gets everything ready, while progesterone maintains what's been built. Together, they're like an interior design team. Estrogen bringing the furniture and progesterone finding the feng shui, making sure everything's functional and cozy. Their partnership is more than just hormonal balancing. It affects everything from mood and energy to skin and sleep. Estrogen is uplifting, energizing, often giving you that burst of confidence and vitality. Meanwhile, progesterone has a calming, almost tranquilizing effect, thanks to its influence on GABA, a neurotransmitter that helps you feel relaxed. So when you're working in synchrony, you feel centered and at ease, cycling through phases of high energy, then cooling down into relaxation. It's the ultimate hormonal balancing. But when estrogen and progesterone aren't in sync, see if estrogen out of control a bit without enough progesterone to rein it in, that's when things can get a bit chaotic. Too much estrogen relative to progesterone can lead to mood swings, bloating and irritability. Think of PMS or PMDD. On the flip side, low estrogen and high progesterone can make you feel sluggish and overly fatigued. Balancing is essential. Each hormone counters and complements the other. These two hormones working to the ebb and the flow, creating an ideal environment. It's not just about reproduction, however, it is about overall health, brain function, and even cardiovascular health. So the next time you feel in tune with your body, you can thank estrogen and progesterone for their elegant duet. However, it's when they're a bit out of sync, that is where we run into troubles. And that is where, when we look at getting the symphony right, is going to be so important. So let's talk about both the oral combined pill and also the menopausal hormonal treatment. I often get patients coming in wanting to balance their hormones, and yet they seem quite reluctant to take hormones. So what I would say to you in terms of that is when you look at your hormones, it is never just that you're high in one and low in the other. We have cycles where snapshots will show you a high estrogen and low progesterone. So understanding that cycle is your first step. And getting snapshots, blood tests during the cycle, day 1, ovulation, day 21, gives us a bit of an idea of exactly where you're running with your hormone. Postmenopausally, if you still have a womb, it's about balancing both your estrogen requirements with your calming progesterone requirement. In the oral contraceptive pill, we can manipulate both the progesterone component and the estrogen component to give you what you need from your pill. And that's why sometimes things like acne, polycystic ovarian syndrome, that's why these things can actually sometimes be managed quite well with a tailored combined oral contraceptive pill. Can you speak to your doctor about what you need from the pill other than contraceptive requirement? When it comes to menopausal hormonal treatment, there is a vast array of options. Topical gels and patches are brilliant for estrogen delivery. And increasingly we are using the Biorina, the intrauterine device that has progesterone impregnated into it to offset any of the estrogen effects on the lining of the womb. Alternatively, if you don't fancy the idea of the Biorina, something like the microionized progesterones that we have would use to do that offsetting. And we'll talk about that in our next podcast when we talk specifically about choosing a hormonal treatment for menopausal symptoms. Thank you, and thanks for listening.